cold. I'm freezing. Not freezing. It's cool in my house. Cool.
Good morning. Yeah, I was just outside. It's a little warm where I am right now, but Scano, Sego, good afternoon or good morning. Good morning, everyone. Nice to see you, Roberta and Douglas. To have you with us today is wonderful. Welcome to Mush Hole Voices. This is a space and platform that is offered for our residential school survivors and relatives to share stories and just move us forward into healing and understanding. And my understanding is that we have an amazing guest with us today, Douglas Semple from, he's a Woodland Cree from northwestern Ontario. I'd like to know exactly where you are today and invite you in and just say, Roberta, I love you and I'm enjoying my time visiting with you every week. And I'm just learning so much from our relatives that continue to show up and share their stories and their voices, their perspectives. And I'm learning a lot about myself. I'm learning a lot about my family and what my responsibilities are as an urban Indigenous woman. And I just really appreciate this relationship. Nyawa, welcome everyone.
We'll get to start. So I guess I will. I'm glad to participate in this show and the continuing dialogue that's happening with the experiences of the Mohawk Residential School. I was there earlier this summer, and I got to meet Roberta Hill there outside the grounds there when I was visiting the old residential school. But before getting into that, I'd just like to say that who I am and where I am from, and apologize for the bad lighting that's in my studio. My makeup artist did not get here in time, and the lighting technician is just, I'm gonna have to fire them. But in any event, I'm originally I lived in a little place called Wunneman Lake when I was a child. That was like 50 some odd years ago. It had about 300 or 400 people living there at the time. It was one of those communities that was created by the Department of Indian Affairs through their processes. And before that, our people used to have their traditional places where they would live and then move around, and but because our parents were told by Indian Affairs that their kids needed to go to school, and that a reserve had been set aside for them, and also a school would be built in that reserve. So therefore, that we would have to go and live in those communities as a central point. Because it was different families that family groupings that came together and lived in in Wunneman. I mean, like Wunneman was just one of the communities that were very similar to the ones up north that were I guess they were contrived communities by the government, and also with the help of the Hudson Bay Company the local store. There was a lot of those two agencies had a lot of control over our lives. So that's basically the where I come from, and that one of them is like maybe about 400 or 500 miles directly north of Thunder Bay, Lakehead, which is at the top of Lake Superior, which is where I live now. I've lived here since I think it was 2000, and before that I lived and worked in a small place called Sulakot, which is further north of Thunder Bay, and so that sort of gives you I hope gives you a picture of where I'm from. And so forth. So I guess maybe I'll get into how I ended up to be at Mohawk Residential School. Like when I was living there, I used to see these kids leaving on the plane, and I was told that they were going to school for the winter, and we wouldn't see them coming back until the following June or somewhere there, sometime thereabouts. And I used to wonder about that experience. I thought, in my child's mind, I thought that was I thought it to be an exciting time that those those uh, those children got on a plane and flew away. I thought that was the most exciting thing that would happen to me if I were able to join him someday. So one day, my mom comes to me. This was after the treaty day, as they used to call it on the on the reserves, where Indian Affairs would come and hand out $4 to every one of us. Well, back then, when I was 50 years old, $4 was a lot of it's kind of a lot of money. So I was able to buy a lot of pop and chips at the local store and be able to go to one or two movies that the local another local shopkeeper used to hold movie nights, and they used to cost 10 cents or 15 cents to go in. So I would go in and hand in my 10 cents and watch a movie with the treaty money. Of course, I never knew understand what the purpose was for all that. And I would hear some older people talk about talk about what it was and that kind of stuff. I still didn't understand at the time. Um, I guess to some extent, maybe I still don't understand. I still don't understand why why all that is, but I think to some extent I do it. In any event, my mom comes home one day, and she tells us that my brother and I, the late brother uh, Gordon and I, we were going to be going away to school in the fall, in September. It was not too far ahead. So of course I was all excited. I'll be able to join. Now I'm going to be able to join all the excitement of boarding the plane and then flying away. Of course, So you know, like before, that experience is quite different than the ones that I've heard from the past, where police and the Wemchigoji would come along and gather the kids and put them all in a plane. That wasn't quite the experience that I had. That was just towards the end of the year of residential schools. But still, I think there was some form of coercion that happened on our parents to let us go on the on to the residential school, whether it's through the old, I don't know if you guys remember, if you remember the family allowances that parents would receive for each of their children. This, right now it was changed for the current child tax credit that parents usually get, but before that they used to be like family allowance checks each month would arrive for for each family, and there was a certain amount per child given. Maybe I don't know. Maybe it was done through the coercion was done through that with the Department of Indian Affairs people saying that if you don't let your kids go to residential school, your family allowances will be will be cut off. And that sort of stuff. So I'm just assuming that's what probably happened here, because I'd heard something about that from some time back. And anyway, in any event, I did get on a plane, flew to Susulakot, and with a whole bunch of students from across the north, they gathered us there in Sulakot that day that we left in late August. Yeah, I was kind of excited to see the town of Sulakot for the first time in my life. Wandering around with my brother and some cousins from another community, and looking at looking at the cars, and like I'd seen cars before in my life because my my father used to work in a mining town, and so I got to see cars there. But to be in a municipality like Silicon with a lot more cars, it was exciting, and to go around, walk around shops. I had a little bit of money, a few coins. I'm not sure where I got them. Maybe my mom gave me some. But we did find, my brother and I found found a candy store uh, on King Street in Sulaka. So that's where we went and bought a bag of candy to to have with us, and put in our pocket. And as we continue to explore the town of Sulaka, but I'm not sure if I remember anything else other than I can't even remember if they fed us fed us when we got to Sulaka. Not sure about that. Maybe that's why I had a hankering for candy. However, they had us. They had us. They told us that we were supposed to stay at the local church there, Baptist church. And I remember going there later in the afternoon, and and uh, and having some sort of a dinner, I guess, in the basement of. And then we hung around with a number of other kids from there that were probably going to the same place as I was. Some of them very small kids, smaller than I was, and and then in the evening, 10 o'clock or thereabouts, got dark, and and they told us that our train is going to be leaving at around in midnight. So of course we were sort of tired from wandering around town exploring it. We fell asleep on the church pews. I fell asleep in many, but I'm not sure about the others. And then I woke up. Around about, I don't know, before they told us that we had to go to the train station. I woke up, and then all of a sudden there's this realization that something has changed here. That I was never going to be going back to my mom for a long, long time. And it was as if just something sort of descended upon my soul. Just sort of a very sense of deep loneliness for for uh, for everything that had been familiar to me to that point. For the presence of my mother and the presence of my friends that didn't go out, and the presence of the whole community just gone. And and that sense of deep sense of loneliness stayed with me right through I think to the end of November when I decided that I am where I am and I need to accept that or or not. So I decided to accept that when I was at the residential school and then began a new life. So in any event, so we did. They took us to that train station, and the whole just it seems like hundreds and hundreds of little kids and I was little too, 11 years old. I thought I was older. And I think back on that now. An 11-year-old kid, and I think at when I got to be an adult and had my children, I had said to myself, I could never ever let my my son leave my house at the age of 11 or 10. So I made it a point to always be where he got the opportunities and the advantages of getting a good education. I made sure that I went along with with them to make sure that they were always going to be okay. And I think they always say that they always tell me that I'm kind of possessive with their life, but uh, but I think not sure if they understand where that comes from. Uh, But anyway, so we got on a train, and then we were on that train for I don't know, more than 24 hours, I think, from Sulca. There wasn't what they call the express train because the express train used to get to from Sulco to Toronto in much shorter time. But we stopped at every little station there was, and uh, and and in the night time we sat there listening to the train wheels clacking away, the coach moving this way, and it was quite an experience, an experience that I was going to be riding the train forever. As a child's man, there's all kinds of stuff that goes on. You don't because you don't understand, as a child, what's really going on. unless if you have your parent with you who you have full trust in to look after you. We had nobody. There was nobody there for us to hold us and to tell us that things were okay and that we can go to sleep. But no, there was just us kids, smaller ones even. They were crying. I remember them crying at night, during the night, crying for their moms, and those of us that were older, like myself and the others that were like 12, 13 years old, became parents to these young children to try to calm them and bring some sense of comfort to them. So that night, us, the older ones, that we lost our childhood. That was the beginning of the harms that this residential school policy that the government, uh, in their good intentions, or maybe not good intentions, but their determinations to wipe our minds of our connection to our lands and the rights to those lands that we had for centuries or even thousands of years. Those are severed for a time during that. The beginning of that was that night for me in that on that train. And then of course, you multiply that experience with thousands. There was a lot of people that lost their connection to their land. But hopefully that in this time and place now, we are reconnecting with that concept of who we are and where our land is, and that we will continue to work on trying to get that established with our relationship with the government. I mean, we are establishing it now. I mean, we don't need the validation of anybody, including Canada, to to us on that matter. So anyway, so it got to got finally we got to Toronto, I think it was, and that was quite another experience. And then we stopped in Toronto, and somebody met us there and herded us onto another train. And finally got to Brantford, where they took us off and and took us to the residential school. I don't have much recollection of those first days. I can't recall what it was like and what I felt like. Because even the details of the first few months, just can't seem to get a clear picture of what went on in that time. It was just a building full of kids. Some of them were strangers from across other provinces and the people from the Iroquois nations. And so there was that there was that part of it. It it was a truly life changing experience. But but as I said, that I talked about that great sense of loneliness that came upon me in that Baptist church in Sulaco. It just remained there for a long time. Even when I got to when I got to the residential school, until one day in November, I decided I shouldn't I shouldn't be like this and just accept I am where I am and see what comes out of the experience. I think part of the what helped was the hockey program that we had that expended a lot of energy on myself and then to be able to go and go to the city leagues and beat those little white kids. That was good. we were we were pretty good at the game, and I don't know why. Maybe we just didn't care enough to be careful not to get hurt. We just wanted to win, and that's and I think that's that 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 sense, that ability to be focused on to be driven. I think stayed with me throughout the years, and I've heard other people say that the residential school experience is sort of there's something about uh, uh, those people. They're driven to to succeed or do so accomplish something. Maybe that's where it all come from, or maybe it was just a coping mechanism that we developed to survive the what happened to us in that. Jeez, that's loud car there. But anyway, as a coping mechanism for uh, for us. Maybe I'll close the window just 1 minute. I'm in the main roadway here, and there's lots of traffic. Yeah. So as I say, maybe it was a coping mechanism to help us survive it. But we and then we carried that thing that ability throughout the rest of our lives. So that I think that's the thing that I remember about the residential school, and of course, becoming a parent and an adult early, like on that train ride, becoming a parent to the small children. I think had molded a sort of a characteristic in me and so many others. That, that there was a lot of bullying that happened on in the school grounds, and I used to go and help the little kids with the bullies. And I think that's where the initial experience of being on that train, turning into an adult. That's where the compassion for the younger kids came from, to help them. I used to I used to gather these little kids. I'm gonna go after the bullies when they became too much for these little kids. Because we'd seen them, they'd be crying because somebody beat them. But that was sort of another experience that was created in us, and so. But and then of course I've seen things happen to my friends. Just I don't think I don't really feel like talking about those particular incidents, not in any graphic way, because I don't believe that those things that happened to me, but they defined me as a person that I am now. I'm much stronger. I'm a powerful person. Not because I say so, but because my family tells me. My children tell me that to to be able to survive what I survived. But like incidents of like sometimes that just with a friend of mine in back where I come from. I asked him one day, "Do you remember that time when that supervisor came along and was angry with you for some reason, not doing maybe not cleaning up a particular section of the floor, and he got angry with you, yelled at you, and picked you up by the throat and shook you and threw you to the corner." And Daniel tells me, he says, "I can't remember that. I can't remember what that happened. But it was traumatic for me to witness that. That an adult can do that to a young child, pick him up and shake him and throw him throw him into the corner of the room. Daniel just laid there crying for some time until we went over and comforted him. But him, he just it just disappeared and never recalls it. So a lot of things that have happened to the kids there, like they blocked the horrific incidents from their mind. That was again their way of coping with life, and I think to some extent they still are able to do that. And because of that, they they get sick because they they wipe away traumatic incidents. They don't deal with it in a normal way that we should. That is by going through a process of grieving, because trauma often involves loss, and no matter whatever loss it is, you need to grieve, go through a process of grieving, because if you let it, if you keep it inside, it does something to you. It, it, it gives you a high blood pressure, and that sort of destroys your heart. And so a lot of those train riders that were with me in on that train from Silicon are gone now, passed away because of how they handled the trauma, not dealing with it. There was other ways that they passed away, whether it's through drinking and whatnot. So my late brother Gordon, who I came out with, passed away when he was 48 because I think it was because of his experience in residential school. Not so much at Mohawk Residential School, but at another residential school that we went to afterwards. Just horrific stories that he told me about what happened to him at the hands of an Anglican minister. I worked with him for a couple of years before he passed away, and and the beginning of my I guess I could call it a counseling relationship with him. At the beginning, he was really angry. I tried telling him that the key to getting through what you're going through is in your pocket here, right there, in your shirt pocket. and you have a ball and chain on your leg. And that's what you've been walking around with all these years. Yet you don't even know that you have a key in your shirt pocket, releasing yourself from that ball and chain. That ball and chain is that Mr. Hands who sexually abused you. That minister, he's got you chained there, and the key to unchaining yourself is taking that key, the key called forgiveness, to forgive, and you will release yourself when you do that. It does not mean that like he couldn't understand the concept that to be able to forgive does not mean that you forget what happened to you. That is always going to be there, but being able to forgive is to release yourself from the continued abuse that you are experiencing right up to the day that you are still here. You will begin to heal this when you let this monstrosity away from you. Like he can't harm you once you forgive it. Like you, like say for I used to ask him, he used to get angry with me, and I talked to him about like that. But I told him like, what if you were given a chance to just uh, let's say just go and kill this guy, this Mr. Han. What's that going to do for you? Is that going to relieve the anger and the stuff that's in your being over that abuse? If you kill that guy, if you smash him to pieces, is that going to relieve you? No, it will not, because the the what happened to you will still remain inside you. It will not give you any satisfaction to kill that man. Instead, you will make things worse for yourself by going to prison or something. But short time of talking with him, I was able to finally get across to him, and I think he at the end was able to was able to forgive that his the person that harmed him, and because because one day we had a conversation, and, and he told me about this little child that they were caring for, him and his wife, how he loved her so much, and wanted the best for her. I think I think that at that point in time he had started on his healing journey, and it because he used to tell me that he couldn't even hold his children, his own children, and hold them like a parent should. Like it was just he just couldn't do it. And also there were times that when the oppression of that experience came him like on him like a darkness, and he would tell his wife and children, take the children out and leave him alone for a day or so, which his wife would often do, go stay someplace while he went through that bout that depression. But anyway, so I think he was able to finally manage to come through, and before he passed away. Uh, that was I felt glad about that. He he could reconnect with his creator when he went when he went away. So that's a big part of the experience of the residential school that I have, and I think the way that I've narrated it, I think would will help some people to get through the trauma of, of such experiences that they may have had, rather than dwelling on it and just holding on to it. They need to let it go and have some form of forgiveness, and then move forward with the healing journey, that you become stronger as a human being in your spirit, and so forth, that you'll be able to you know be able to stand as a powerful person when and if there's a point in time when you need to hold a person accountable for what they've done to you, and also to talk to the government as in a powerful voice, to be able to tell them that what they did with the residential school policy is wrong. And, you need to be strong to be able to do that, and you can't do it when you are still wounded. You need to heal. So that that was my journey to that. But I think the next part of what I want to talk about is post residential experience, and how I've done. And I think in some way the experience at Mohawk Residential School gave me the fortitude to be a leader in a lot of ways. And I was a tribal council executive director for many years, maybe about 13, 14 years. And then I was a senior manager of a hospital in Silicon, being, I think at one point being a chief executive officer. These were some of these were environments in which there was a lot of non-native people involved, so it's kind of been a little intimidating as being the only sometimes the only native person in the leadership group, such as the hospital. But by that time I knew who I was and what I should be doing. So, but during those two experiences, being tribal chairman, the tribal executive director, and also being in the senior manager, I did senior manager of the hospital. I took some time to further my education. I had gone to university and got a Bachelor of Arts in Political Science way back, but I wanted to get a master's degree, so I did that. I went to Queen's University down in Kingston and got a master's degree in public administration while I was still working. And then a few years after that, I got another master's degree. This one was a master's degree in business administration out of a university in the States. So so I in the course of doing some of that studies, I made it a point to study why Mr. was the way he was, why he thought the way he did, and I think that's what I'll probably close off with, how I sort of figured out how we need to deal with the government of Canada. not necessarily the white people, because they're just as much a victim of the system, the racist system that was set up called Canada. And the people that set up that system, uh, they had a certain way of thinking about things, and theirs is a worldview of that they call there's a term for like capitalism, they call it, but essentially what it really is a is hoarding resources and natural, not whether it's natural resources or anything, just hoarding stuff. That's the way they look at things. They hoard wealth. That's why there's so many uh, millionaires and billionaires and so forth. It's unnatural to. I think it's unnatural to. I mean, like, I don't think I would mind being a millionaire, but to focus in on that without without some sort of a connection to to the creator, and what you're supposed to do with that wealth that you've been able to gather is to share it with those around you. That's the way that our worldview was before contact. Like, we were truly wealthy the way we looked at things. Our Creator gave us all the land and all the natural resources therein that's contained in those lands. There was no need for us to try and accumulate as much of it as we could, because it's there for us to be able to get at any point in time we want, and 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 for those of us that are healthy, and we are supposed to be mindful of those who are not able to gather. We are supposed to, in our gathering of daily gathering of things that we need, we are supposed to gather enough to be able to share it with those people that are not able to. Say, for example, in the case of my family, we lost my dad when I was 5 years old, and there was five of us small kids with my mom as a widow. She moved up north, and what the people around her used to do is they would bring fish to her and bring wild food, wild game, and moose and whatnot, so that we would have enough of us as they do. That's the kind of worldview that we had, and to some extent we still hold on to that worldview. And that particular worldview, we can bring it along into the present and be able to compete into the marketplaces and trap the capital that is in places like Toronto, New York, and whatnot. Bring that capital and help us to sustain our communities, and to be able to look after the ones that are not able to look after themselves. That's the kind of worldview that we have, and that's what the non-native worldview is quite unlike that. They just want to gather and hoard. they and once they see a non-native or a native person with a different worldview, they tend to go. They tend to think that we are infringing on their right to gather and to hoard. Therefore, they think they have a right to kill us, or to try to change us into the way they think, which which is not happening. So So that I think that's what I wanted to talk about, and that that those two worldviews I talk about. I've spent most of my life working with my communities to work with resource development companies that come to them to to design an agreement that works for both our worldview and the worldview of the non-native person. There's some understanding that often happens, and been a good journey, and all the way from that train, that night train from Sulaka. A long journey, hard but good in the end. Thank you for listening.
Yeah, that was really informative, Doug. I've learned a lot from your conversation, and one of the questions I have is, like, when you're talking about this hoarding, I was thinking, like, why did all the little children, Indigenous children, have to go through this? What was the reason? But that kind of ties in with what you're saying. Yeah. They had to do something to move you out of the way, right? Yeah. So that they could gather all their wealth that they wanted, even if it meant harming children, getting rid of Indigenous children. Yeah, it fits perfectly in that. Not that it's good. It's just, yeah. I see the connection now. Yeah.
Well, like if you think about it, the residential school policies was only a slice of the way that the government treated us. And to move us off our land, to steal our land. And there was other ways that they inflicted genocide on us, whether it's cultural or just actual genocide. They actually starved us. They actually went out and shot us just to get us out of the way. They think. And that comes from a strange mindset that the Pope told them that they had every right to take land from unchristian people, unchristian meaning not belonging to organized religion. So it's very interesting how all that ties in. I do.
It is.
What's that?
I said it is, and I can see where you've got your strength from, through all of those lived experiences from being that little boy riding that train, Yeah. And I thought, wow, it's one of many, but not everyone could be as strong as you are now, yeah. And many didn't make it that far, but it probably was one of the blessings on that train that there was those older boys that stepped up, or even the older girls that could step up and fill those roles, as when those little children lost and don't know where they're going and missing their mom and their dad. So yeah, your journey began with that strength that you had already. You must have inherited that from your parents.
Probably from my mom.
From your mom?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She lost her husband at a young age. So she had to find a way to survive. Mm-hmm. So, yeah. But as I say, it's interesting so far. I mean, I think one of the things that makes me stronger is to understand. If I'm presented with a mystery of some sort, I want to understand it and figure it out. And that's what I've done most of my life, to figure out things. I figure out why the white man thinks the way he does, and I think figuring things out like that gives you a tool to change things. So, okay. There, yes.
Me again.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you, like, being in the back room,
Seems like you've always had that inquiring mind, though. You've always been inquisitive. That seems like it. And maybe that's what's helped you through all those years too, is that you weren't going to just, sit back, even though it's tough. It's a tough road for sure. But you can't let people keep their foot on your neck all the time. You just can't do that. So I'm really impressed here with Doug's story. Your life experiences, what you've done, what you've accomplished in your life, and just your insight into how things came about and why we're here today.
Yeah.
Hi, Jody.
Yeah.
Hi.
Is that late?
I'm here. It's definitely inspiring, and I think that every time we have this opportunity to share someone's story, our hope is that it reaches someone else and that it inspires someone else to think in a different way, to look for opportunities. And for myself, a lot that you spoke about, Douglas, resonated with me because at a time in my life where I didn't feel connected, I felt there was something missing in my life, and I surrendered. I was on the land and I was on a retreat, and I broke down, and it was I'm surrendering. Just tell me what it is. And it was just like it opened up for me, and it was just like I was being served enough to show me the beauty that I was not paying attention to, that was given by Mother Earth, and just the understandings of my own, our inherent gifts from our culture and our beliefs and our ancestors. And I'm just, every time I hear these stories, I'm more and more grateful for, being guided and by my grandmothers and elders and, relatives like you who come and selflessly share your story, knowing that it could heal or help or support even just one person. And so I'm just really honored to share the space and just be here to support any way that we can. I really look forward to continuing this journey.
Yeah. Again, I apologize for the bad lighting and the lack of makeup that. We gotta get rid of these these makeup artists and the lighting technicians. So that's about it.
Yes, and I think just to talk about some of the upcoming events and things that are happening. I know for September 30th there are so many opportunities for people to gather with community and bring awareness and support residential school survivors and the children and, the families and the stories. So I know that, we're doing this every Thursday at 11 a.m. to support the Mush Hole Voices, but Mohawk Village Memorial Park. The vision that the survivors really just want the land there prepared so people can come and know.
We lost the sound.
It would jump in, Roberta. Yeah. Go ahead, Roberta. Tell them more.
You're back.
Okay.
I was just saying, tell them more. I'm moving just fine on my end, but if I go quiet, please go ahead and tell them about the 30th in October, that October weekend that you're gathering.
Oh, for the we're having a gathering for the survivors and families in October the 2nd and the 1st and the 2nd at the Mush Hole.
Yeah.
And so there's a lot of planning right now, and we haven't got everything completed, but through Woodland Cultural Center, I know they're organizing and trying to bring a lot of people down for that gathering, because there's still a lot more that we have to hear from some of the voices that have never stood up and spoke about the reality of what the Mush Hole was like. And with this big investigation that's going on, I think we're going to hear some more. So it's going to be a really interesting gathering, because we haven't seen each other for years. I mean, years. So it will be nice.
I'm planning to attend that gathering October 1 and 2.
Yeah.
And probably bring one or two other those train riders that I talked about.
Oh, please do.
We have to bring them.
Well, there's if you can let me know how many are coming, we can look at booking some hotels ahead of time through the
Yeah.
Woodlands. They've got, they need to know numbers.
Okay.
So let us know.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. I will do that.
Awesome.
So
was a
it will
great-
be a big event. And if they're coming in on the 3rd, if they're coming in on the, okay. Okay. Where are you?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah. I can hear you, bro.
Sorry, I don't know.
Are you there, Jody?
I'm here.
I can.
I'm here. I put the link. Oh, so we've lost. Okay, so yeah, the connection is this time of day. I find is just one of the worst times of day for streaming. But anyway, I just want to thank everyone again, Yawa, for coming. I shared the link for Mohawk Village Memorial Park. If you feel called to donate for the park to be built, so that when people arrive, they have a safe, sacred space to visit before and after entering the Woodland Cultural Center. That's the purpose of what the elders and our relatives are asking for.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, that's why we're doing this. And then also at our place at the Urban Indigenous Center in Milton Country Heritage Park, we're doing an event September 30th, which is also will probably be a walk, a unity walk of some sort to honor the children.
All right. Good
Hi
stuff.
again, Roberta. I'll let you sign off today. Can you hear me?
Oh, no, that's okay, because I know that there's a big event with Doug George. Have you been following up with Doug George?
Yes, I'm waiting for him to send me information.
He's going to have that walk for his friend Joey Commanda that was killed on the train tracks.
Yep. So
okay, so that's coming up next week, I believe.
Yep. Okay. We're going to sign off.
Okay.
Thank you. We'll see you later. Douglas, you're awesome.
All right.
Take care.